Before my students can turn anything into Canvas, I have to create an assignment, and that will open up a slot in Canvas for them to turn their work in. So that's what we're going to do right now. So I'm going to come over here to the Assignments tab, and the reason that's grayed out is because there's nothing in there. So if it's gray on my screen, that means my students can't see that option on their screen. I click on Assignments. This is if you want to add an assignment real quick, maybe something you do every week like a spelling test or whatever it may be. But if you want some more options, I can come up here to Assignment, the blue button, and that will give me a different window. So let's say that my students are going to turn in a Google Slides presentation on Lewis and Clark. So I'm just going to label this Lewis and Clark presentation. This box will allow me to add some more specific directions or maybe just reminders to my students. I can add whatever I want to type here, and they will see that before they turn the assignment in. I can, of course, go through and kind of change the way this looks with my typical options I'd have in a word processing program. I'm going to go down, and here's where I get into some more options. I have to decide how many points I want this to be. Maybe I want it to be worth 30 points. I can create groups in assignments. So maybe I have, and let me back up and say that you'll always have just this one group, assignments, as the default. I can create new groups by going to groups, and what this is, it just is a way of organizing the assignments in your gradebook. So maybe you have a group called quizzes, maybe you have a group called discussions, and it's just a way, it really doesn't affect what happens on the student side, it's just a way to organize what you see. It might be easiest just to leave that on assignments for now. I can decide how I want this to be displayed on my gradebook and in the student canvas. Now I can decide what kind of file types I'm going to accept. So if you click on this, you'll see that one submission type is no submission. So for example, if this was just a participation type assignment and you were just going to give 10 points to students who participated, they really wouldn't need to submit anything for that. So you could click on no submission and then just give the 10 points out later. Typically, if they're turning something in through Canvas, you're going to use the online submission type. These are exactly what they say on paper. If they were going to turn something into you on paper, you could go back through Canvas later and enter the grades. This is an external tool. We're not going to get into that right now. That's going outside of Canvas and using a different tool to turn our work in. So I'm going to leave that on a line, online. And then I have to decide which of these online options I'll take. Text entry means that they can simply go in, go to the assignment, and type out an answer. I could use website URL if they were going to, for example, something like ThingLink. They could paste the link to their ThingLink in Canvas and it would show up in my Canvas gradebook. If they made some kind of recording, whether it be video or audio, I could use that. File uploads is probably what you'll use the most. Here's where they can turn in directly from Google. And then restrict upload file types you're probably not going to use. We're going to ignore group assignment for now. We're going to ignore peer reviews. That's probably more the secondary level. Here, it would be important for me to check this if I was planning on exporting these grades into SIS. Here's where I can decide who I want to assign that to. I could assign it to specific students. I could type in their names here, or I could leave it on everyone and everybody would get it. I can create a due date. All that will really do is it will remind the students when something is due. It will also light up the assignment in bright red if a student turns in something late. You can leave that blank if you'd like. This available from and until box, what this will allow you to do is you can actually create the assignment and not have it show up to the student until you make it available, and the assignment will actually disappear from their side if you have it turn off at a certain time. Again, you can leave these blank too and they'll always just be there. The due date is nice just to have that there for the student reminder. We're going to make this due on 30th of November. I have two options. If I'm ready to go and I'm ready for my students to see this, I can hit save and publish. If I want to come back to it later, I can just hit save for now. And this is what it looks like on the teacher side. This shows me who's turned it in, and we can see right here that it has not been published yet. If I'm ready to publish, I can hit publish. And now on the student side of things, it will be ready for them to see. So real quickly here, I'm going to go into student view so you can see what this looks like. And it always takes me a second to find this. Here we go, student view. They would go into assignments. Here's their Lewis and Clark presentation. There's the due date. Here's how many points. I click there. The student would be ready to submit the assignment. Here's where I typed my reminders. Of course, you wouldn't type the word reminders, but and then on their side of things, there'll be an additional tab right here that says Google. They can click on that and it will show them everything that's in their Google Drive. They could click the Google slide and hit submit. It would take it directly from Google into Canvas. Or they could upload. Here's where they would choose a file and upload just like they would any other time. They can add some comments to you. So here's my presentation. They could also leave that blank and they hit submit assignment. Now I'm getting an error because I haven't submitted anything, but that's exactly what it would look like on the student side of things.